I've testified in quite a few trials, maybe over 50 trials, and maybe in over 150 depositions in personal injury cases. And you have to be very prepared for trial or for deposition. I don't think it really matters one way or the other whether you do a deposition or trial, although I do not like trials anymore. But in my earlier days, I liked trials. But depositions, you also have to be prepared, and very prepared, and be able to speak to the reliability of the test that you use, and an appropriate explanation as to why you use the test and what you got out of the test, and also be open and honest about your facts and your testing or other information that you've gathered that do not support what you have concluded, but also have explanations as to why you ruled that out and came to your conclusion. So you have to be prepared for all of that for both deposition and trial. I have testified in some trials where I've testified over a course of 3 different days, have been on the stand for 3 days, and so you have to be prepared. You have to know, again, the literature behind the test that you use, and have to have your rationale clearly in mind and be able to respond to questions about your rationale. Depositions also can be quite lengthy, or they can be very short. And trial testimony can be very short too. Trial testimony can be as short as 30 minutes, but it can go on a great deal and a long time. So you have to be prepared. Now, part of the testimony in trial or in deposition is that they will talk about, have you come to this conclusion with a reasonable degree of psychological certainty? Now, the response always to that is yes, or medical certainty. And the response, again, is always yes to that. But you don't respond yes to that unless you've done your homework. And you can say, more likely than not, I believe that this injury occurred, or this exacerbation of their symptoms occurred because of the alleged injurious event or circumstance. And so you have to be prepared to be able to respond, yes, I am confident to a reasonable degree of psychological certainty that this is the case. And again, the standard is more likely than not. So it's not a very high standard. It's about 50%. It's not a very high standard, but you have to be able, in your thinking, to be able to say that in testimony.